In this video, we will learn how to set up and configure Linux virtual machine on Windows. For the first step, you need to download Virtualbox in your machine. So click on this link. And here you can find out different versions are available for different hosts. And I'm using Windows machine, so I will click on this link. So once it will be downloaded, I will click on this icon. So click next, next, leave it as default, click next. We are getting some warning messages, but for now we can ignore it and proceed with your installation. Click yes and then install. It will ask for confirmation, click yes. Finish. So that completes our first step, which is installation of Virtualbox. So that is done. And you can find an icon at your desktop for Oracle VM Virtualbox. So whenever you need to start installing something, click on this link and it will open this screen. The next step is to install Virtualbox Linux images. So for that we will be using OS box Ubuntu Budgie. So this is the link, and you will find that Virtualbox images. Click on this link. It will open this page, and this page will have images for different Linux distribution. So for this demo, we will be using Ubuntu operating system, which is one of the most popular Linux distribution used across industry. And you can see that we have different flavors of Ubuntu available. And here I will be using Ubuntu Budgie. Click here. And you can find different version of Ubuntu available here. So Ubuntu 2004 is the latest one, but you can also find all the previous version of Ubuntu images. So for this demo, I will be using Ubuntu Budgie 1910. So click download. It will take some time because it's a very huge file, 1.4 GB, and that will take some time. So depending upon your configuration or internet connectivity, it will take some time. As I have already downloaded it before this demo, so I will cancel it for now and will proceed further from that point onwards. So see, I have already downloaded Ubuntu 1910 version. So what we need to do, you need to just simply cut it and create separate folder here at your desktop or wherever you want to store that image. So for demo purpose, I am creating it here, Ubuntu images. Paste it here, right? And you can see that it's 7Z archive, and in order to extract images from this 7zip file you need to install 7zip download. Click here, and depending upon your machine setup you can download appropriate version. I am using 64-bit machine, so I will click here to download. So once it would be downloaded, click on this icon to install it. Yes, close it. So that is done. So go to this folder where we have stored our Ubuntu image. Right click on this icon, and now you will find out 7zip as an option, and here we need to extract it to appropriate folder. So I'm just extracting it to Ubuntu folder with the same name. So it will take some time, not too long. Okay, now it has been downloaded, and now you can see that we have Ubuntu Budgie 1910 64-bit virtual disk image available, and now we will use this image to launch our Linux virtual machine. So now we need to use Virtualbox Manager for configuring our Linux virtual machine using the downloaded Ubuntu image. So here we need to click on New, give name to your machine. So I'm just giving Ubuntu 1910. So it's a best practice to give your version name. So I'm using 1910. So provide Ubuntu 1910 as your Linux machine. Machine folder, leave it as default. This is type is Linux, version is Ubuntu, so that is alright. Click on next. It's giving me some error, so that's fine. We'll create new folder here. So within my home directory I will create another folder called VM or Ubuntu VM. That is fine. Okay, select that folder and click on next. So here you can configure your memory size of your virtual machine. So by default the value is 1 GB, but you can configure it based on your requirement and you can change it accordingly. So for now I'm just giving it 2, and we will use this parameter for modifying your memory requirement for the virtual machine. So I'm just keeping it as 2 GB. Click next, and now we will use the downloaded virtual hard disk for creating Linux virtual machine. So use this, click on this icon, click on add, and now locate your virtual disk image which you have extracted. So I will go there at desktop, Ubuntu image, here 64-bit, click on this link, open, choose, and now we'll click on create. So that is done. We have successfully created our Linux virtual machine, and before starting it I will just show you a couple of options which we can configure. So go to system, and here you can see that I have configured the base memory as 2 GB, and we will use these configuration for any further amendment, right? So if we need to increase memory limit to say 4 GB or 5 GB, whatever would be required for your project, you can configure it from here. The next option is processor. So here the default setup is one CPU core, and we can increase it based on your requirement. So for now I'm just keeping it at 2, but you can increase or decrease based on your need. So I'm just clicking on OK, that is fine. And now we will start our virtual machine. So this will start your Linux virtual machine. This will take some time. That is going good. Yes. So here you need to provide password as same as user ID. So here the user ID is osboxes.org. So osboxes.org. Click OK, and now it will enter into my Linux virtual machine. So this is the screen you will find when you are able to launch successful virtual machine. And now you can navigate it, right? So it's very similar to Windows, and it has lots of functionality and features available which will make developers life very easy, right? So you'll find lots of software available, and similarly you can just go and navigate your directory structure. So that's the directory structure it has. So for terminal, right click and then open terminal. So this is my terminal, right? So this explains the basic setup for your Linux virtual machine. I hope you will find it useful. Thank you.